welcome to Bears Banter. My name's Bernard Muhammad, and we got Jay Beasley. What's up, Jay?
Yo, what's up, Bears Banter fans? How
All
y'all
right.
doing tonight?
Hey, look like it might be just you and I tonight.
Hey, we can make it happen. We can make
yeah,
it
we can
happen.
make it happen.
It's enough knowledge on here between the two of us to make it happen.
Right. Hey, we got a lot to talk about, bro.
Right.
Yeah, I know Plank. He doing homecoming with one of his children. I know guys at the gig, and I know Quick. He a ref, so he does the game.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Hold on, let me change his background for us. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Man, Jay, so getting ready for the Panthers Bears. That's a home game, right?
Yep, absolutely. 12 o'clock kickoff on the lakefront.
Mm-hmm. What's your first thoughts on this game?
First caveat I want to throw out there is the Bears have the longest home winning streak in the NFL right now at 7 games. And I'm proud to say that because the last 7 home games I've been to, they actually won. So that's always a plus. And once again, they're playing a bad team. Andy Dalton has stepped in for Bryce Young. And the first 2 weeks, the Panthers offense was 32nd in the NFL. And the last 2 weeks, where Dalton has taken over, they've averaged 30 points a game, which is, I believe, I want to say I don't have the notes in front of me. I want to say it's the 5th in the NFL. So Andy Dalton has given them a shot in the arm. I mean, but the red rifle is still Andy Dalton, and he's a 14-year veteran. He ain't fleet of foot, so he can't move around the pocket. So my thoughts right now is once again, our defense got to get after
it. Yeah, I agree, Jay. This is actually a guy that if they get pressure on him, they may be able to close the deal because almost every quarterback, I'm trying to think they played this year, are guys that could kind of move in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Colts, who they played last week? The Rams.
Stafford, which they got the Stafford.
Stafford is real savvy in the pocket. He real savvy.
Right.
He know how to slide and step up and avoid, but the red rifle
different arm angles and everything with Stafford.
Right.
So he's that guy.
He's that guy. So. Yeah. So I know what looking at this schedule before the season started, most of us did not anticipate that they would make a change this early. So that just put a little difference in it that you got to be a little bit more aware in the passing game that some of those passes that Bryce Young hasn't been able to complete, that the red rifle will be able to complete some of those passes. But I think the Bears defense should be able to get to him, and he's gonna want to give us a few. He's gonna give us.
But if I have a concern is the Bears run defense hasn't played well in the last couple of weeks, and Chuba Hubbard has been on fire. He's had a 100-yard game the last 2 weeks, but that comes again with Andy Dalton being that quarterback. So it's going to be a challenge this week, just like in the NFL. Everything is a challenge, but I still think the Bears are the better team, and they shouldn't let the Panthers come here to Soldier Field to get an upset.
Yeah, I agree, Jay. The run defense has been a little suspect when it comes to teams who kind of commit to running.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have still did good once that team get on the other side of the 50s of like at least keeping them to a field goal and kind of clamping down on that. But they're gonna have to tighten that up because you can't have teams moving the ball that easily on you, even though it hasn't resulted in a lot of points, because eventually it sets up play action or what you saw last week a little bit where you saw some broken coverage because you just wasn't good at stopping the run.
Yeah. Well, and it all started with the Colts with Jonathan Taylor. He was the first guy to run 400 yards on the Bears in like the last 12 games dating back to last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's all about the running game. If teams want to commit to the run, eventually those 2-yard runs are turned into 5-yard runs. The 5-yard runs are turned into 12-yard runs. Then, sooner or later, somebody's gonna break one, which is what happened against Indianapolis. We didn't really have to worry about that with the Rams last week because the Bears defense was stifling last week. They got after it. So it's going to be interesting to see what Eric Washington do, him and Eberflus do this week.
Okay. And on the opposite of that, I'm hoping the Bears stay committed to the run this week. The Bears found some success, and I know running the ball sometimes is based off the opponent. There, some opponents are not good at stopping the runs, where others are. But still, with a team like the Bears, you have to commit to that running. Yeah, even if you get, like you said, 2 yards, you got to commit to it because you may get 4, you may get 6, you may do like what DeAndre Swift got last week. What was that, like 30 yards or whatever it was?
I think it was 36 or 37 yards, but that's what happened. They kept running the football, and eventually they broke one. And so that's the thing about running the football not for just the Bears, but in the NFL in general. If you ain't got that beast, if you ain't got a Saquon, or if you ain't got Derrick Henry, you got the 3 yards in the cloud of dust, 3 yards in the cloud of dust, and sooner or later, if you keep pounding on that defensive line and them linebackers, you're going to hit one of these. You're going to hit the home run. And that's what happened last week with DeAndre Swift.
Mm-hmm. That's the interesting thing with the NFL. As years went by, they've made it seem like running backs are obsolete.
It's a passing league.
Yeah, it's a passing league. But
I hate that term. I hate that term.
You look in the offseason, the last 2 or 3 years, there have been running backs who have gotten contracts. Interesting thing is they got contracts from other teams.
Right.
They didn't get contracts for them from the team they was with. Like DeAndre Swift didn't get it from Detroit, but he got the money from Philly. Montgomery, where was a little mix with Montgomery? He was kind of wanting to lead the Bears, which you kind of understand. He get tired of the losing culture, but he eventually got the money from Detroit. What's his name? Played for the Giants. I can't think his name right now.
Saquon Barkley.
He didn't get it from the Giants. He with. I forgot who he's with.
He's with Philly.
With the Philly, he sure is with Philly.
He's with Philly, yeah.
Yeah. Derrick Henry just went to the Ravens. And so teams are starting to recognize with these young quarterbacks and just even get late in the game that you got to at least be able to pound a rock.
You got to be able to control the clock. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And people take that for granted now. They talk about, running backs are dime a dozen. And don't get me wrong. There's some great running backs. But, you can put a running back in and allow him to run and don't pay him a lot of money. The thing about the league now is again, it's about the salary cap. Some positions get devalued, and running back and the safety is one of them. Because you got teams. Look at the guy at Kansas City. He's a 6th-round draft pick. And they threw him in, and he's a starter. So I understand it, but when it comes to the meat of it, like you said, when it gets to December and January, when you're trying to salt the clock away, you got to have somebody that can get you 3 or 4 yards on every down. So that's where, to me, the value of the running back still holds value. But, teams don't look at it like that because now it's a passing league, and they don't need to control the clock and eat up yardage because they figuring they're gonna be up by 2-3 touchdowns or 17 points, or so they're not looking at it like that. But in reality, the league is coming back to defenses have caught up with these big passing games. Defenses like, okay, wait a minute, because you rarely see a 4-3 now. Everything is nickel defense. The will linebacker is obsolete right now. You got a Sam and you got a Mike, and then you got a nickel back. It ain't no 3 linebackers and 4 DBs no more. Everybody's playing with 5 defensive backs now because everybody is playing 13 personnel. So it makes that will linebacker obsolete. But because these defenses, like I say, they've caught up. So you're not gonna catch a will linebacker out here trying to guard a tight end right now or cover a tight end right now. It's not gonna happen. You got a safety on the tight end now. That slot receiver has got a nickel corner on him, which that position has become so valuable in the NFL right now. So the defenses have caught up, and the smart offensive coordinators are looking at it like, now, okay, you know what? Now we need somebody to run the ball. So it is what it is, but like I said, it's a passing league.
Yeah, Jay, you made a lot of great points. One of the things, other than the formations and bringing in that nickel corner, is that nickel corner used to be the dude that was 5'7" and 5'8", and then he had the task to try to guard as tight ends got taller. Right, that guy was tasked with trying to guard Gronk. What's Gonzalez' name? I can't. Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez.
Right. Those were mismatches, right? Against 6'4" guys, 6'5" guys, 6'6". Then they too fast for the regular linebacker. Now teams are doing like the Bears did. You getting a Kyler Gordon who comes in and you making him your nickel. I think Kyler is probably what 6'1", 6'2".
6'1".
Yeah, so now you're getting the guy that's even with the receivers, right? Receivers at one point started getting tall. And it's funny because back in the day, the real only tall receiver probably was like Harold Carmichael from the Eagles, right? So he was towering over 6 foot over these 5'9" and 5'10" D-backs. Now these D-backs, a lot of them are 6'1", 2, and 3.
6'2", yep.
It makes the
200, 220, 225, 30 pounds. They big now. They big because they realize that now as the receiver gets bigger, the defensive back has to get bigger because that's the only way you're going to be able to cover that wide receiver. So yeah, I mean, I just look at it like it's a corner, and I can't remember who he played for, but he's 6'4". You're a cornerback playing at 6'4", 220 pounds. That's almost unheard of. But that's the game today. That is the game today.
So in the game against the Panthers, as we discussed, we know the Bears are going to have to. They should run the ball, right? This is just part of the process. Running the ball is best friend of a young quarterback. It definitely helps a line that's struggling when you're able to fire off and get some positive plays, and then you kind of slow up that rush, right? Because if you're just going to drop back every play, you're going to be in shotgun every play. Then that defense is just going to pin his ears back and just come at you. But if you start running at them, then they got to really honor that when you commit to it. So it makes them kind of be on their toes a little bit more. And then also with a young quarterback, teams like to put people in those gaps because, right, they want to confuse the quarterback. They want to show him pressure. But when you start running, they either going to have to commit to being in those gaps or they're going to back up out of those gaps, right? Because they're trying to figure out, are you going to keep running? But if you keep passing, they're going to shoot through those gaps. So I think the Bears need to just stick and honor, keeping the passing game to about 25 attempts and make that running game higher than that. And if you could get away with 20 attempts, that's fine too. As long as you win in the game, the object is to win the game and make sure you are developing your quarterback. Because what you don't want them doing is you don't want like Tim Tebow type call either, right? You throw the ball 10, 12 times and complete 3 passes and they all deep pass. You don't want that either.
Right. And one thing watching last week's game, I give Sam Waldron a lot of credit. And I've said this before, how these guys don't play in preseason. So they really it really takes these teams 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks to realize what their identity is. You could practice, and I said this on the 2-minute drill last night. You can practice all this scheme that you want to run in your mini camp and your OTAs and training camp. You can do all of that. Reps, continuous reps. So this is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. But when it comes to Sunday, and you running that, and you realize that you can't do it, you change it up. That's why the Bears were so successful last week in the run game, because they changed the blocking from the outside zone scheme to a man-on-man inside scheme, which opened up a lot of holes. When you know better, you do better. And I feel like that's what made the running game so successful last week. They changed the blocking scheme for the offensive lineman up front. And when you're able to adapt like that, it shows your growth as a football team. So after 4 weeks, they was like, okay, you know what? We can't do this. Teams like Kansas City, they can do it because, they've ran it seven, I'm just throwing a number out. They've ran that play 700 times in the last 5 years. So they know that they got the people that can actually make that block. Just like on the fourth down and goal against Indianapolis. You want Braxton Jones, a tackle, to make a block on an end that's 5 yards away from him. He's not athletic enough to make that block.
Yeah.
So the play has doomed from the start. But if you line it up, you put your fullback in the game like they did last week. It wasn't a fullback, but it was a lineman. And if you see Roschon Johnson's touchdown, and you see how it was mano a mano, man on man blocking, and you saw Doug Kramer come in and put the linebacker on his keister, and Roschon Johnson was right behind him in the end zone. When you know better, you do better. So, everybody can talk about, the Bears ain't this, the Bears ain't that. Like I said last night, everybody thought the Bears was going to come out scoring 30 points a game. Look, y'all, we got a rookie quarterback. We got a new offensive coordinator. We got a new offense. It's going to take some time for this thing to develop. I was listening to a conversation. I'm not trying to go off script, but it's just me and you, so we can talk. I was listening to a conversation on the radio earlier today, and we still have these people that's talking about Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, and they should have kept and I said that the comparison is not fair because Justin is in his 4th year, and Caleb has played 4 games. So the conversation was about, okay, let's look at Justin Fields' first 4 games as a rookie, and let's look at Justin Fields' 4 games as a rookie. They pretty much are identical. 2-2 records. Justin Fields threw for 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Caleb Williams has 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Justin Fields had been sacked 13 times in his first 4 starts. Caleb Williams has been sacked, I believe, 11 times. So it's identical. And I just think it's so unfair that people try to compare these quarterbacks because they all on different journeys.
Yeah.
They're all on different journeys. And it's just so unfair. You got people now talking about, the Bears picked the wrong quarterback. How you going to say that after 4 games?
Yeah. Hey, Jay, you make a good point. I want to kind of comment on that. And it was a post I saw the other day. It was on IG, Instagram, and it was sarcasm, but I thought it was a great point. I think I sent to y'all. And it just take the sarcasm of the, for those who out there listening. Thank everybody who's watching us tonight. Tonight we're on Twitch TV, YouTube, and Facebook. So, hey, if you get a chance, switch over to YouTube and watch us. If you're watching on Facebook, yep, and then hit the subscribe button. We at 781 subscribers. But anyway, let me share this, and then we can keep going into this game a little more. Somebody had wrong. Jordan Love, after sitting behind Rodgers for 2 years, in his 4th year, goes 32 for 54, 389 yards, and 3 interceptions, and a fumble and a loss. Wow, incredible. Almost won. Williams goes 33 for 52, 368 yards, 2 TDs, and 2 interceptions. Is the second, hold on, this is his second game. He's a bust. That shows how perception is, right? You take one player and they can have the same stats, and people will say, man, it's some bright things coming. Another player, if they don't care for him, the narrative changed. So my point is about what you said about 4 years ago. We watched those 4 games, and we was like, Justin Fields is a rookie. Give him time, right? And that's what we did. And so after a while, with any player, sometimes some stuff just don't work out for people. And it's not because they a bad player. It's just like taking any job. You go to a job and you're like, man, this is just not a good fit. it's just like players. So you was talking about the outside zone blocking, right? It depends on if it's a good fit for a player, right? Some running backs can run in it, some running backs can't. See, a lot of us who are old, we kind of just ran in the, I was a running back. We just ran on a hat on hat type running thing, right?
We out to the cloud of dust, baby. If you
Correct.
break one, you break one.
You break one. I mean, they got, like, for example, man, I love Montgomery. I always loved the way he ran. But the Bears, to me, it goes back to when Nagy first got here. They had Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard.
John Howard.
Okay, he was kind of like a downhill runner, but they really wanted to run a lot of RPOs.
They
And
want
I'm
to run the cute stuff. They want to run the cute stuff.
So I'm like,
Everybody want to be smarter. Everybody want to be smarter than everybody else. That's what it is.
Yeah, so I thought Jordan Howard was a good power runner, but I'm like, if that's what they want to run, he doesn't fit a RPO because he doesn't have that gear, right? When they putting that ball in there and trying to decide, he can't get in gear fast enough. I understand that. So if you're gonna, that's what you want to run, that's not the right personnel. That doesn't mean when you move on from him, he's not going to do good at another place. That doesn't mean he just don't fit what you're trying to do. Right. Okay, it was times that once in a while that I love Montgomery's style, but they was doing a lot of zone blocking, and it was times he was running into his linemen upfield. And I'd be like, man, how did that happen? Then it took me a while to realize that, right? Like, okay, he's not one of those guys that could slow up in the field. Right? Yeah. He's running full speed. Detroit is perfect for him.
Yep.
It's perfect for him. Hat on a hat, they moving guys. He could just run, right? Then he get up the field. He could cut back if he want to, but it ain't the same blocking scheme. It's a total different blocking scheme than what the Bears are running. And so I'm glad the Bears have made that adjustment on the blocking scheme. And that's why even when you look at players, quarterbacks or whatever, you have to look at everything they're playing. I had a discussion with a guy a couple of weeks ago, and we was kind of going back and forth about he had said something about Mike Singletary. And I was like, Mike Singletary couldn't play in the cover two that the Bears play, not in the middle. And he was like, man, I said, no, they was primarily running the ball, and he just had to. I said, Mike, man, he's too short. Then he was like, man, he ain't too short. I said, man, he probably barely 6 feet.
5'10". 5'10".
I said, dude, he wouldn't have been if not in the cover two. I said, not the Tampa two. He could not play middle line.
He definitely could have played the Tampa two. Definitely could have played the Tampa two. No.
Yeah,
no.
I said, I'm not saying he couldn't play. I'm saying he couldn't play in that scheme.
In that scheme. And that's what it's all about. It's all about scheme. Yeah. Like you say, just like David Montgomery, and I just want to dispel, and David Montgomery, this is second year with the Lions. I just want to dispel. Yeah. And Bernard, I'll be texting y'all because it make me mad when Bears fans be like, they should have kept David Montgomery. David Montgomery was a free agent. He left.
He left.
The Bears offered him the same amount of money that the Detroit Lions offered him. And he was like, you know what? I don't want to stay here. This team is on the upswing. So I'm gonna take they $18 million instead of taking y'all $18 million. So just dial it down, y'all. And again, just know y'all facts. Like, of course, the internet was all over the Darnell Mooney thing today. Darnell Mooney had a hell of a game last night. He had a hell of a game last night. That was a great game to start the week. It was, Thursday nights normally be that yawner. Yep. But I wind up staying up for that one. It was a barn burner. But today the internet Bears fan pages was talking about, they should have kept Darnell Mooney, and I knew he was gonna be this good. Y'all, Darnell Mooney had a 1,000-yard season in 2022, but he got hurt in 2023. And at the end of 2022, he came back. He really wasn't himself. Then DJ Moore came. I know they should have changed nothing, but it did. And he left.
Yeah,
he left. Yeah. I'm happy that he's thriving.
Yep, and it all comes down to performance, right? At a certain point, you only could grade players on how they perform for you. And whatever happened after that injury, he had drop passes in 2023 and 22 in key situations. I remember the Washington game where he dropped the ball that could have been a touchdown. But that year, he was the primary target. So he still got 1,000 yards. But last year, let's not forget, and it's not to dump on him. I'm just saying how we just get short memory. A Hail Mary fell perfectly in his hands. He dropped it.
And as good as he played last night, he still had some drops in the key situations. And it's just like, this is what we're talking about. You know, and like I say, y'all know I was a Darnell Mooney fan when he was here, and I wish him well. But I feel like we still upgraded at the position. So Bears fans need to understand, when it's an upgrade, it's an upgrade. Don't let nobody have one or two good games and be like, oh, we should have never got rid of that guy. He did this. Come on, y'all. Come on. Come on. I need y'all to come down to reality and look at the game and not just individuals. You know, we talked about that all the time, but I don't care about the name on the back of the jersey. I care about wins and losses for the organization. So, you know, that's how we look at that.
Yeah, then last point on him, and we get back to the Panthers game, is, man, when things don't work out, people respond differently. Last year, as much as I like Darnell Mooney, it was times at the midpoint, I swear he was just not happy. He was disgruntled. It was times it looked like he really wasn't running his route. What do you expect the team to do? He caught about 30-some passes last year. Think about 32, 35 right up in that. That's not productive for a starter, right? And so whatever was going on, he checked out. They upgraded. You can't tell me he's better than Kenan Allen. You can't tell me his upside is going to be better than Rome Odunze. So you moved on to, and guess what? Rome Odunze is on a rookie contract. But in this game with the Panthers, man, that's the keys to the victory that we talked about. To me, the Bears running the ball and no turnovers. Get some turnovers, and you gotta not let them run on you. And I think everything else is gonna play out in your favor. What you got, Jay?
I said this at the beginning of the year because when I went back and watched Seattle games to look at Shane Waldron's offense, every game there's a specific person that's going to get fed. You know, Rome had his game against, I think, was that against Indianapolis when he had that 100-yard game. This is going to be a DJ Moore game. It's going to be a DJ Moore game because James Waldron wants to dispel this whole myth that it's a rift between Caleb and DJ. DJ is playing against his former team. So this is going to be a game where the run game is going to be in effect, and DJ Moore is going to have that game. He's going to have that game this week. I'm looking for them to go to him early, often, and deep.
Yeah. You know what? That's a great point. One of the viewers just mentioned, who's that checking out Gypsy Mike, that Mooney was turned into a blocker and he was a decoy and he blocked a lot for DJ. That's an excellent point because he did. And that's part of the stuff that might have made him unhappy, because the year before he was used, especially his rookie year, he was used for a lot of, my name on the screen. He was used for some end arounds and stuff like that. And they was finding ways to give him the ball. But if you look at it, when he had his breakout year, Allen Robinson had his worst year ever. So that ended up making Allen Robinson
expendable.
Expendable because his numbers went down. But those one of the things that key to a victory to me is making sure you do those things. And the Bears, what the weather supposed to be like, Jay? Do you know?
73 and sunny, which is what I love. 73 and sunny. So, yeah, we can take that at noon on the lakefront. I'll take it all day long.
The Red Rifle said he's never won in Chicago.
Nope, he has never won in Chicago. He ain't going to win this week. He ain't going to win this week.
Hey, I'm trying to think, did he even win when he was playing here?
Yeah, but the bottom line is, you know, like I said, they have averaged 30 points a game the last two games since he's become a starter. But he hasn't played against a Bears defense. And this Bears defense, I'm telling y'all, man, it's so good to watch. in the stands when the Bears go on defense. It's just an amazing thing to watch because the crowd be hyped. I'm talking about it be shaking because everybody knows the Bears is about defense. Our offense is gonna come. We've never been an offensive team. Now we're trying to be, come into the 21st century as an offense. But that defense is something special, man. It's something special, and just to sit there and watch it. Well, not sit there because we be standing the whole time, and we have people be like, "Can y'all sit down?" Well, we sit down on offense. We want to sit down on
Hey,
defense.
Jay, love it, Jay. I love it for multiple reasons. Is you put your money, you trying to put your money to what actually make NFL teams successful in the current NFL. And I know 2 years ago, us personally, we took a lot of flack because there was some trade made, and we was on board with the trade. And if you notice now, especially this year so far, late last year, there's been no talk about all the guys who used to be here on
They used
defense.
to be here,
All,
yeah. They used to be
all
here on defense. Ain't
it's
nobody
gone.
talking about that right now.
Ain't talking about it no more, right?
Ain't
Because
nobody talking about that right now.
these guys are getting after the ball. They're getting turnovers, right? I'm telling you, who's going to, I think, going to have that breakout year, in which he did pretty good last year, is Tariq Stevenson. I think he's going. I see. It's almost like they pick on him not because he can't cover it, because they don't want to throw on Jalen Johnson's side.
Right,
So,
right.
but he's always right there in the frame most of the time. So now it's just going to be a matter of him closing in on that ball and recognizing more when that DB is looking back for the ball, right? And to close in on that ball. And other thing he just got to work on is he's a physical guy. He just got to, he sometimes he kind of scared me because he kind of get into that, what's the player name? Akeem Hicks thing. He's kind of getting into it with a player after the play is over.
After the play is over.
I watched a person last week. I'm like, dude, you lucky they didn't call that. I think they called it on the other guy because they didn't see his punch. Like, dude, it's okay to be physical, and you be physical between the whistles, right?
Right.
You jamming those guys up and all that stuff, but when that whistle blow, don't blow a third down stop by doing something stupid.
And the name that you haven't heard is Kevin Byard. You haven't heard his name a lot.
Yeah.
But if you want to focus on somebody, focus on that guy. I think Jaquan Brisker is a follower of mine because I had said like Jaquan Brisker, and I said it last year too. I'm like, he actually think he's better than he really is. Well, he shut my mouth last week because that dude was all over the field. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm glad you follow me on Instagram and Facebook. You probably heard what I said, and you was gonna make it a personal vendetta of yours to be better this week. And he was. The dude was all over the place. He had 12 tackles, 2 passes defended, a sack for a fumble, interception. He played well, man. This secondary is really, really good. And it's one of those things where you kind of get mad because Jalen Johnson don't get a chance to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Because ain't nobody throwing the ball his way. That's just how good he is. Nobody is throwing the ball his way. If our defense don't get a couple of turnovers, we'll lose. Williams is a slow, smaller Fields mini-me. He's still a 2-read and run quarterback. Panthers win 17-3 if our defense or special teams don't score. Okay, Gypsy Mike. That's your opinion?
That's a formula in any teams if you think about it. If you win in 2 phases of the game, you win the game. What's in the Bears' advantage right now against the Panthers is their defense and special teams. So if you outperform them in those 2 parts of the field, it doesn't, as long as you don't turn it over, you should beat the Panthers because you're going to win in 2 phases of the game. Okay, as far as the other comment, hey, for me, our quarterback is Caleb Williams. I can't go back. The Bears not about to trade backwards to get them and all that stuff. And I've done this before. I lay stats against these stats, and I'm going to say this: if a team is only getting 10 points on you, like the Steelers, 10, 8, 10, it's easy to win those games. Last week, when the team actually put some points on them, it was harder to win.
They're scrambling.
Now once they meet teams that put up more points, now you have to do more than just run or running backs get hurt. You got to do a little bit more. So that's why I like where the Bears at. It has nothing to do with Justin Fields or anybody, that they're trying to develop the quarterback. I'm looking at a quarterback whose first game, his passer rating was 51. His second one was a little bit better. To his third one was 80. To his fourth one was 106. I mean, he's
That's
going
progress.
right. It's
That's progress.
going in the
That's
right
progress.
direction.
And again, like I tell people again, I don't care if the Bears win 10 games this year and they win 10-6. I don't care. I don't care. They won the game.
Yep.
This is not college. We're not looking for to be ranked in the top 12 to go to the playoffs or to go to the BCS. All I want is wins. If it's 13-7, if it's 19-6, I don't care. I don't care. All I want is the win. Because in the stat column, that's the only thing counts is wins and losses.
Yeah, it is, Jay. You know what I have, like, even with the struggles, what Caleb have not done, last week was his probably best whole game, right?
It probably was his best whole game, yes.
Early on. I'm waiting for him to put together a whole game. Now, that becomes important as you put together a whole game that is good. But what I have liked in every game is he did not shrink in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
If you look at the fourth quarter has been pretty much his best quarters. Mm-hmm. That matters in the NFL game. Mm-hmm. These games are too close. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, all the Bears games, if you look at the Bears game, the Bears is right now 2-2. They could easily be 1-3, right? Or they could actually be 4-0.
They could actually be 4-0, or they could actually be 0-4.
Or 0-4, right?
That's just how close it is. Well, the last week's game, they kind of had that. You're right, they kind of had that one in hand. But they could be 1-3, or they could be 4-0 because again, that Texas game, none of us gave them a chance to win that game. And with a minute and some change left, they had the ball on offense with the ability to score a touchdown and a walk-off touchdown. Mm-hmm. It could have been a walk-off touchdown. So, again, when you're developing a rookie quarterback, wins and losses are big just because based on the hype that we came in with this year, mm-hmm. and the schedule, how it was just laid out. I'm more interested is when we hit week 11, where is this offense going to be? Right. That's going to be the key because you're talking about Green Bay twice, Detroit twice, Minnesota twice, Seattle, and San Francisco. Yeah. Those are your 7 games, right? 2 for 6. Those are your 8 games after week 10. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. Where's your offense going to be by the time you hit that Green Bay game? That's it. All this other stuff is practice because, again, I'll still go back to guys don't play in the preseason. People still not in game shape. Like I said, DeAndre Swift played 2 plays in the preseason, and then people want to wonder why he ain't got his legs under him. He ain't been calloused. His body ain't even been hit. You know what I'm saying? I digress.
Hey, Gypsy Mike said they may go 5-12. They should be playing back. You know what? Be honest, when I take the fandom out of me, if the Bears find a long-term quarterback,
and they go 5-12,
5-12 this year. I don't. I may be upset watching if the Bears went 5-12 and next year we got our quarterback and we know it and we win games, I would rather go 5-12 and have our long-term solution than to win some games and still trying to figure out if you don't have your quarterback. And I was having an argument, disagreement with a guy today on YouTube, and he kept saying, hey, the Bears should have traded for the bag. I'm going to show you a team that keeps trading for the bag, and what has it got them? The Cardinals.
Carolina. Carolina.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the Cardinals, right? The Cardinals have had up to 8 to 10 picks in 2023. They had 2 first-round picks in 2024, this past draft. They've been averaging 7 to 10 picks per draft or more. Guess what? They still haven't figured out if they got the quarterback right. This is why they're not progressing. And if you take, and then that window start closing on it, because you could use San Francisco as an example.
Yep.
San Francisco got that bag from the Bears in the 2017 draft. They built that team up because that team was a long way away. They was in the Super Bowl, I think 2018 and 19 already, right? They lost that Super Bowl because why? They didn't really quite have a quarterback right. They got back again last year. And guess what? Eventually that window started closing. And guess what? If that window started closing on you, guess what answer you might not have still figured out?
The quarterback.
The quarterback. And all those players that you got in 17, 18 from having consecutive first round picks, 2 in some drafts, 2 in 20, all that. You blew all those picks on Trey Lance, right? You didn't care about it because you end up getting Brock Purdy, but those end up counting. Now you start getting into 20, 25. If you don't make it this year, all that having the bag don't mean nothing because all these guys' contracts start expiring. They're gonna want that bag.
And not only that, you paid Christian McCaffrey, you paid Debo, who's gonna want a new contract. He just got paid, but he gonna want a new contract real soon. You just paid Brandon Ayuk. Now you got to pay Brock Purdy. So you can't pay everybody. But just to go back to Jesse White, and this is going to be the last time I'm going to respond to him. He said the Bears could go 5-12. If you can show me on their Bears schedule where they only going to win 3 more games, then I'm like, okay.
Some had to go terribly wrong.
Some had to go terribly wrong for them to win only 3 more games.
Correct.
Come on, bro.
But you know what? They literally, with some of these teams, that the way they defense is playing and some of those offenses, if they don't get better, they could literally pass the ball 10 times on some of these teams, play great defense, kick a bunch of field goals, and win. Because that's what the Steelers did the first couple of games.
Right.
That's pretty much what you did. When your defense is, now this is the thing about defense. If your defense is real good and could get turnovers and if you could keep teams under 17 points, you have a good chance of winning a game. All you need is 1 or 2 mistakes from them, get a special teams play, boot 4 or 5 field goals, quarterback get 1 touchdown. You winning these games 19, 21,
19-16, 21-19. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Because, you know, like I said, we got the Panthers this week, and then we play the Jaguars next week.
The Jaguars
next week. Then we get the bye. Then the big game is against Washington. Then we come home and play the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't see it. Now, I ain't saying they can't blow nothing.
Because by the time the Patriots come here, I'm quite sure Drake May will probably be starting. So now we're going to be facing another rookie quarterback back to back. The one to be playing the 2 and then the one to be playing the 3. So I mean, it's some would have to go terribly wrong with the Bears for them not to win more than 3 more games. Jesse, Mike, I'm sorry, bro.
So the Jaguars haven't won a game yet. So I
think
they
coach might even be fired by the time we play them. They might be under interim coach by the time we play them.
Correct. They may even fire because they starting to say, hey, think about it, they gave Trevor Lawrence the bag, right? They may be like, man, we might have made a mistake. But I think what happens a lot of times with us as Bears fans, it's our emotional commitment to individual players that make us sometimes come with, like, we want to stay with that player, so we kind of almost wish the failure of the team so we can say, I was right.
I was right.
But it may not even line up with the schedule, right? To say, have you looked at the schedule? I mean, you really looking at the schedule and think, look, last year they won 7 games. And when we went into that season, it's no way you thought they was going to win 7. They actually could have won 10 last year. And you're like, they could have won 10, and the team really wasn't even a 10-game. But it showed how any given Sunday and how teams change when you look at them. As they go through the season, you don't know what happened. Certain injuries set teams back. Then coaches get fired. Sometimes players check out. all they want is their stats, and they just kind of like, I don't like. Look what's happening in the Raiders right now.
Yep.
Devontae Adams literally saying, I want out. I want out, right? But it's time for 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
And I just want to point this out real quick. Just like how we talking about teams. I read an article today on Bleacher Report. They was talking about how it's a mutiny in the locker room with the Patriots right now. So I mean, it's just a lot of dynamics. Devontae Adams requesting the trade. Where is he going to play? Is he want to go to the Jets? I think that would be a big mistake because Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old and he's not looking like he's going to be playing for a couple of more years. So you wind up going there, and then the quarterback that you want to play with ain't there no more. So it's a lot. It's a lot going on in the NFL, and I just try to stick with facts and stick with my team. As much as I know about everybody else's team, I just want to focus on my team and focus on their progress and what they're doing. And I feel right now, after 4 weeks, I feel like the Bears are kind of like hitting the stride where they want to be because, again, the defense has always been ahead of the offense. But this offense is slowly but surely, if Shane Waldron can listen to his players and do what he needs to do, it's going to all work out. It's going to all work out.
Yeah. And you know what? And we're not saying you're not going to see no turnovers. Look, I'm using Tyson Bagent. I'm going to go segue back to this, then go for 2 for 2. I was impressed on Tyson Bagent's command of the offense. Okay, he was a backup quarterback performing in place of the starter. But he did have about 4 interceptions, or maybe 6, in those games he played. And in one game, I think against the Vikings, it was late in the game.
It was late.
It was
the
late.
Pass to DJ Moore. The pass to DJ Moore.
Yep. And then in the New Orleans game, that probably would have been a game that maybe they say Justin Fields playing, they might have could have won because that really did not. Okay, that happens. He was a rookie quarterback. He was making those mistakes, right? Which is fine. That's gonna happen, right? You're gonna have turnovers. That just happened. In his case, is because he was the backup and you made the mistakes. That means the starters get back in. Now, if you was the backup and you didn't turn it over, it might have been a little bit like, okay, you can take an extra week to get your thumb together, right? We just want to get you get that kind of thing. But if my 2 for 2 segued into a team we just mentioned, my 2 bottom teams are the Jacksonville Jaguars is number 1, the worst team in the NFL right now. The second team I have is the worst in the NFL is the Tennessee. Will Levis is giving away Christmas gifts, and he's trying to make everybody a little happy for Christmas, right? All the defensive backs gonna be happy when they see Will Levis. The top 2 teams are KC and the Vikings right now. What you got, Jay?
My top 2 is I'm going to echo your sentiment. My top 2 is the Vikings and the Chiefs right now, and my bottom 2 is definitely the Jaguars. And I don't know if I want to put the Titans down there. I want to go with a team that everybody feel like, because the Titans weren't expecting to be no world beaters this year. So I mean, they are what they are. So I'm gonna go with I just off the train of thought. Not Tennessee, but the Jets right now. The Jets look terrible. And now you got Garrett Wilson, who ain't happy. Aaron Rodgers looking 40 years old. So those are my bottom 2. Will Levis and the Titans weren't expected to win. They got a new head coach. Will Levis is, practically a brand new starter, although he's boneheaded. He's giving away 2 games. He's giving away 2 games just throwing the ball without even looking and throwing pick sixes. So those are my bottom 2. My top 2. But the Vikings, who actually play the Jets this week. I think the Jets, even though they're my bottom 2, that's my game of the week this week. because I think the Jets are going to put the Vikings in their place.
Okay.
And that game is, and to mention, that game is in London.
Mm-hmm.
That game is in London.
It's in London? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Gypsy Mike, hey, you get a chance to share us what your game of the week is, and also
your 2 for 2.
Your 2 for 2. Hey, my game of the week, other than the Bears game, is going to be the Ravens and the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
That's hold on, make sure I'm on the right week. I'm on the right week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hold on, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I went a week ahead, didn't I? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a week ahead. It's going to be the Bills and the Texans. It's the battle of the 3-1 teams.
Yeah, that might be a barn burner. Might be a barn burner. But I picked Buffalo in my pool. I picked Buffalo this week because they got humbled on national TV. They got humbled on national TV last week. And Josh Allen, like, okay, I can't have this. Because Josh Allen is that dude. And what I like about the Buffalo team is that now he feels that he doesn't have to force feed the ball to one wide receiver.
Yeah.
I get it. But these players, man, you gotta throw me the ball. I need a certain amount of targets.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, just let the game flow. If you get 10 targets this game, then okay. It was within the flow of the game. But if you get 2 or 3 this week, it is what it is. And that's what I don't get, And I understand it's a different time, because when I played in high school and in college, it wasn't no thing where we was looking like, okay, somebody got to give him the ball. Whoever opened, that's who get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And this camaraderie has ruined a lot of teams, man. I watched something today on YouTube how they talked about in 2020 when Stephon Diggs went to Buffalo, how him and Josh Allen was like best friends and all of this. And I'm so glad I'm with him. Josh Allen said ever since he got traded, they haven't even spoke.
Wow.
I don't get it. Just the worst team 2-2, but they're going to upset the Vikings. What you talking about, Willis? Joe Blow. All I'm saying is the Jets have not lived up to their expectations. Their offense is not really moving the ball. But because I still believe that the Vikings are not a 4-0 team, it's going to be an upset. Didn't nobody think the Colts was going to beat the Steelers last week, but they did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about the NFL, Joe Blow. I'm not saying that they're going to be that they're a better team, but it's any given Sunday, bro.
Sunday. I'm still trying to figure out, other than the Vikings defense, I'm trying to figure out, man.
Where's it coming from? We talk about Sam freaking Darnold.
Who did? I mean, I understand what happened to him in New York, because as much as the Bears get beat up or not developing a quarterback, it's quite a few teams that are just as worse or bad or whatever term you want to use. I mean, Joe Namath was a mediocre guy that kind of got a lot of Hall of Fame, but based off that time he played in, he was a great.
Right, that was the late '60s, early '70s. So you could throw for 150 yards in a game, and people would think you're a world beater.
Yeah, they didn't have their share of quarterback. I mean, think about it. They drafted Sam Darnold, and I think the draft with
2016, I believe.
Yeah, it might have been right the year before.
2016.
2016. They was back in the draft again to get what's the kid that just left them last year? I can't think of his name. He came out in the same draft with Justin Fields and all of them, because he might have been the second or third pick in that draft that year.
From Utah. What's that kid's name? I can't think his name.
I can't think his name.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
They drafted
him number 2 overall.
They go into number 2 over. Yeah. Yeah. So they back in it. You know, it's a lot of teams that kind of experience that. I know the Bears is just the moment today because, you know, certain things they haven't been able to done. But, you know, that's here, there at that point. But I do think the Vikings may be pretenders right now. I don't know yet because I haven't have enough information. Because sometimes the front runners, they get off to a good start and teams figuring them out, or a quarterback like him kind of come out of nowhere. Because I can say the Ravens we saw the first 2 weeks is not the Ravens we see now. They're better than a 2-2 team, but that's what they records say. You know, but
are the Ravens 2-2? Are the Ravens 2-2 or are they 1-3?
The Ravens?
Yeah.
I think they won the last 2 games. I could verify and check, but I think they won the last 2 games. You might be right, Jay. Let me check.
Which is why I picked them to win last week, because I think they was 0-3.
Yeah, the Ravens are 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah, they beat the Bills last week.
They beat the Bills last week.
Yeah. And,
they embarrassed the Bills last week. They ain't beat it. They embarrassed the Bills last week. Anytime your first play of the game goes for 78 and ain't nobody touched the guy, as big as he is, he's running away from people. They embarrassed the Bills last week, which is why I say I think the Bills are going to humble them. They're going to get right this week. It's a lot of good games this week. Pittsburgh playing the Steelers. Pittsburgh playing the Cowboys this week. And that's a Sunday night game, so that's going to be real entertaining.
That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, that's going to be real entertaining. So
yeah. Now, what I don't want to stray too much in there. I want to say they got a lot of injuries, but I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the injury report today. That's one of the things too in Carolina's game. They have a lot of people.
They got a lot
of people that may be out in this game, or they didn't practice.
I know they got their best interior lineman. Brown, he's out. They got 2 of their starting linebackers that's out. The only 2 people for the Bears that's out is Terrell Smith and the defensive tackle who haven't played, not Devon Dexter, but Zach Pickens. But Terrell Smith and Zach Pickens are out, but everybody else has actually been upgraded to more than likely questionable. So they say Kenyon Allen didn't show up on the injury report all week. Tevin Jenkins was back in practice. DeAndre Carter was back in practice. Mercedes Lewis was back in practice. Sweat was back in practice. So they going into the game relatively healthy without Terrell Smith, who hasn't played since week 1, and Zach Pickens, who haven't played at all. So this year. So good news. Ryan Bates is coming back off IR. So you know, it's some positive things to look forward to this game. And I feel like the Bears should be able to muster a win this game. Again, I don't care if they win 10-6, but I'm predicting that the Bears offense wake up this week against a bad Panthers secondary, and they win this game 30-13.
Okay, you got it 30-13. Okay.
I like how I just rolled into that real quick. Yeah, just rolled into that real quick.
hey, guy couldn't make it tonight. Guys, one of the co-hosts for those who tuned in to Bears Banter for the first time. Make sure you subscribe to Bears Banter. We on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV tonight. A guy had to work, so he did send in his prediction, 28-20 in the Bears. And I think I saw a few more down here. Let me see what I see here.
I was wrong last week because I picked the Rams last week.
I picked the Rams last week too.
Yeah. I think both of us picked the Rams last week.
Okay, Gypsy Mike has the Panthers winning 17-13. I have the Bears winning 24-14. I didn't get quick. Did Quick them text they scores? I know Plank picked the Bears. I'm trying to remember if I got it. No, I didn't get Plank's score, but Plank picked the Bears.
Plank always picked the Bears, so whether he give a score or not, he gonna always pick the Bears.
Yeah, hey, at least he not picking 2-0.
Right. A safety to a shutout.
So I'm gonna go on. And if you're on Facebook, please join Bears Banter Talk Show group. To me, it's one of the best groups out there. I'm in a lot of Bears group. I know I may sound biased, but if you join Bears Banter Talk Show group, I'm gonna say this is what's going to happen. You're not gonna be called names, but if you're coming there talking football, you better be knowing what you're talking
You
about.
better know what you're talking about.
Right, right.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it. Know what
yeah.
you're talking about, because we're gonna challenge whatever perspective that you come from, and it's not about belittling or anything like that. But we want to know, okay, is this what you think? Why? Why? Because first of all, we stat people, and the stats don't show that. So we want to know what your reasoning is. Joe Blow, Bears 32, Panthers 12. Okay, Joe
Okay.
Blow. So yeah, so come to the Bears Battle Group. You'll get real information. It ain't no bias. Again, we're not homers. We just tell it like it is.
Yep.
We don't
Yep.
we don't look into the past talking about Justin Fields should have did this or Justin Fields would have been this. Justin Fields is not here no more. So I had proposed something, and it wasn't shot down, but it still happens. But I proposed something a couple of weeks ago, like, don't talk about Justin Fields in this group no more, because he's not here.
He's not here. He's not on. He's not on your team.
This is Bears Banter Talk Show. We're talking Bears.
Yep.
But you still feel free to post whatever you like. But hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Join Bears Banter Talk Show on Facebook. Join the group, because we love all of the information, all the questions, all the opinions. We value all that stuff because we are true Bears fans.
Yep. Yeah, and I agree. The Bears, we even mentioned that the Bears could be 4-0, but they're not 4-0. Right? Guess what? Last year they could have been 10-7. Everybody should have, could have, would have. Right? That's just the reality of sports. But the real reality is adversity sometimes help a team become the team that they can be. And sometimes when stuff gets off to a great start, I keep saying you have front runner quarterbacks. Every year you have some rookie quarterback that everybody crown. And then after about 5 or 6 games, everybody like, oh man, they made a mistake. Give me the guy that's going to work out. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. I don't care. You know what? Hey, paint your nails. I don't care. Win me. I want a Super Bowl.
And people talk about the whole CJ Stroud thing. People talk about CJ Stroud. The Texans was 1-6 after 7 games last year. But nobody really talking about CJ Stroud. They was like, oh, the Texans won. The Texans 1-6. After 7 games, they went on a run, and they finished 10-7. Yep. But you don't hear about the 1-6 start. All you hear about is the 10-7 and the playoff win and the loss in the AFC Championship. It's like, be realistic, people. Just be realistic.
Yep. And all you do is play the guys in front of you. And like I said, the Bears built their future on developing the quarterback. And the quarterback that they want and who they invested their time in. It's a different environment when a team actually wants you there. I don't care how good or potential you could be. If a team don't want you or a general manager feel that this not the guy, no matter what position it is, it doesn't work sometimes.
It doesn't work, right?
They just don't want you there. They want their guys, and fans may not like it or etc. But you know what? I feel better for him and other players that have gotten the opportunity to go to some place that want them and is working out for them. And I hope it work out the long term. But I don't care about them no more. They gone. You can't reverse. You can't do that. But anyway, I'm looking forward to Sunday at the post game in the Bears. I'm looking for them to come home with a victory, Jay. And y'all will be there tailgating, man.
Yep.
And then you be like, hey, man, we won.
And it's on, baby. It's on. But I'm predicting the offensive explosion this week.
Okay. Hey, until next time, everybody, we'll see you Sunday. Peace.
Peace.